Welcome. Hey, welcome to the Our Photo Club Community Podcast. My name is Michael Kent. If we've not met, I am the lead educator here at Photo Club. And today we had a great conversation with my friend Marcella, and we went off a lot of rails, a lot of different tangents, but at its core, we were speaking on gratitude. This idea of looking back at what we have, what we get to do for work, what our creative path looks like. And we just got really deep into what that looks like and what sort of benefits we get out of being grateful for the work that we get to do. So grab a snack or get comfy for your drive and let's get into it. Hey, Marcel. How you doing?
Hey, hey, Michael. I'm doing good. How are you?
Yeah? Good.
Yeah.
How am I? How am I? I don't like saying good without meaning it. Um, really good, actually. I spent the last 2 nights doing proposals for couples, and uh, both nights I ended sitting either at the top of a dune or on a lake shore in pitch black, recording TikToks and Reels with
Oh my
lights
God.
and not lights, but like my phone, to like
Yeah.
reflecting a light on, and then like I have like, do I have them here? Yeah, like nice microphones, like
Nice.
wireless ones, so I can sit in the pitch black and record myself to a camera. It looks absurd from a distance, I'm sure.
It sounds like you're putting in the work though, which is fun and exciting. And also, is it like proposal season right now? Because I'm shooting a proposal tomorrow.
I have done so many proposals this year.
Have you?
I have done more this year than the previous 6 or 7 years together.
What is happening?
I'm not
That's
fully sure.
fascinating. That's actually really interesting.
Are yours up too?
I definitely feel like I've been, yeah. I shot one earlier this year and then they just booked me for their wedding in New Orleans next year.
Oh, have you shot there before?
No, and it's, like, the weekend after my birthday, so we're gonna go
Oh,
early to celebrate my birthday in New Orleans and
yeah,
then
you are.
shoot a wedding, so, I mean, why
Heck,
wouldn't I?
yeah. I I don't know if there's something like in the air, in the water, in the like zeitgeist right now, but I've definitely seen a huge uptick in the desire for proposals.
Yeah,
Um, and part of it is we saw it happen and then immediately responded with like SEO and built like specific, like, for lack of better, like capture tools for
yeah,
them. But so I think that's partially why our numbers are like through the roof. But I've also really seen a big change in the type of people that are asking for them. When we first had them years and years ago, I would never book weddings from them, like almost never.
interesting.
Yeah, and part of me wrote it off as who initiates the conversation on a proposal versus a wedding,
Yeah,
and you know, not to make it, gendered or, heteronormative, but when it is like a hetero couple, it's almost exclusively the gentleman, the guy
yeah,
that books me. And then when it is a hetero couple, it's almost exclusively like the woman that books with us, or at least like it does the initial contact. Um, and
like, you're saying, like, the man usually reaches out for the proposal, but for the
mhm,
wedding, it's usually the woman who reaches out,
yeah,
right? Yeah,
yeah.
because yeah, definitely had the same experience in that regard.
And so I wrote that off years ago as like he booked us and then she doesn't have the same style or he didn't care. He
Right.
found, because often it's like, I don't know, I just need a photographer. Can you
Yeah,
do it? And I'm like, yeah, that's fine. Here's my style. I don't care. Just book it. Like, and then the conversation for, for a wedding is a lot more like thoughtful and like it feels like
yeah,
a proposal could be anybody and a wedding has to be you.
yeah,
Um, I'm not getting that as much anymore. I'm getting like really thoughtful gentlemen coming through and being like, I'm really excited about this. I really want, like, and it's not just my girlfriend told me she wants me to hire a photographer.
yeah.
It's I'm very excited about this. I really want to show her that I care. Um, yeah, it's been a very interesting change.
I'm interested in, like, the age range for, like, these people that are being more
Mm,
intentional and thoughtful, and, like, wonder if it's just, like, a sign of, like, the younger generations, like, being more considerate in that regard, if that makes sense.
Interesting. I have a snapshot of the year, and though I don't explicitly ask for ages,
Yeah.
I will tell you I've got a decent like range. I know I have a handful of like early to mid 20s all the way up to like mid 30s
Mhm.
for proposals. But I think it definitely skews younger. And that was
Yeah.
the other way that I wrote kind of, I keep saying wrote it off, but that's the other way I write it off is it's like, I think Gen Z is coming into their own.
Mhm.
And then you pair that with like the wedding gap from the previous years of like weddings being suppressed because of COVID. People weren't getting connected, people weren't getting
Yeah.
engaged, etc. Um, maybe it's just a built up like excitement. Like I get to marry this person. I don't know.
It's interesting because, like, I don't know how your year has panned out, but, like,
Mhm.
this year was very, very slow for me, but I'm
Yeah.
already booking for next year and even getting inquiries up until, like, 2027, which is wild because I'm just mentally, I'm like, I'm not even thinking that far yet. Like, it's wild to be planning that far in advance
My
for me.
The beginning of my year was
Mhm.
slow, and I mean, like, down, like,
Yeah.
30% slow, and
Oof.
then the tail end has more than caught up with that. I mean, our
Yeah.
weddings as a whole were down for the year, but
Yeah.
proposals, families, and high school seniors, like, completely like, made up for that. And it just meant I had a lot of Saturdays off. We're having a lot of discussions about, like,
Yeah.
what that looks like for the next
Yeah.
couple of years. Like, if we can make the same revenue, do I get some of my Saturdays back, and do we lower the number of weddings that we shoot?
I basically ended up taking, like, all of August off, like, not completely unintentionally, but I was like,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but this doesn't suck." And, like, I'm not mad at it, but I'm definitely now kinda like, I did book less, so less income came in, so now I'm
Yeah.
like, "Alright, I guess I really do need to bunker down and, like, book more for next year."
Yeah, but there is there's something beautiful about that our work allows this sliding scale, this, like,
Yeah.
deciding what type of work we want, how much we want. You can I mean, if you have a consistent let me say this again. If you have a consistent throughput of clients,
Mhm.
you can, like, set your price point, you can set your income. You can decide, like I mean, there's an
Yeah.
upper threshold, right? I can't decide to make $4 billion this year. I can't
Can't
decide
you?
to
Why
ma
not?
because I can't and I shouldn't,
No, I'm
and
kidding.
I don't to quote
No
my
ethical billionaires.
correct. To quote my five-year-old, um, "You shouldn't have all the money. Other people should have some too." That's what he told me. It's very cute.
Crazy. Crazy.
Crazy. It's crazy. Crazy. Um, yeah, just the idea that we get to pick what it is that who we work with, the
Mhm.
quantity that we take in, the the it comes down to the lifestyle that we want. What do
Yeah.
we want to do you want to be and I, 5, 7 years ago, I did want to be slogging.
If we're talking about, like, gratitude and doing, like, this line of work, like, I never dreamed this was even a possibility for me.
Mhm.
To be quite frank, like, I'm a child of immigrants, and for
Yeah.
me, it was always a focus, like, on education, going to school, getting a degree, and, like, even when I was at the university, like, I'd already picked up a camera. I was a photographer since I was 16, just, like, hiking and doing ridiculous, like, Tumblr-worthy portraits of my best friend. Am I dating myself there?
Tumblr
But,
still exists, technically.
true, but I don't know, like, not quite like its heyday, but
Yeah.
I just loved, like, hiking and doing portraits, and I loved photography, but I was raised with the mentality of, like, you can't pursue photography, you can't pursue the arts because there's no
Mhm.
money in it.
Yeah.
So I wasn't even allowed to dream. I didn't even allow myself to want that. I went to
Mhm.
school, I got a degree in psychology, and I just got really burnt out because I wasn't doing anything that resonated with me at all. And it wasn't until I moved to Portland and finally had one person say, like, "Why not? Like, why don't you do it? You can do it. Why not?" Like,
Hmm.
that was it. That was the moment that, like, finally someone gave me permission to believe in myself, to do it, and to pursue it. And that was the catalyst that allowed me to get here. And I always think back on that because, like, I didn't even, like, l think this was a possibility for me, you know?
It's because, in a lot of ways, or it seems to be, because we're just not taught that dreaming is valid, and we're
Yeah,
taught that our future needs to be completely dependent on revenue and
yeah,
the business side of things. And I definitely, this is probably a bit of a tangent, but I was reading the other day, completely separate ecosystem, wasn't anywhere related to photography, and somebody was acting burnt out, and they were
mm,
complaining about this and that, and the conversation got really heated, and then somebody chimed in and said, "It sounds like you're taking in a lot and you're not putting out anything." And the recommendation
mhm,
was, stop consuming, stop watching, stop listening, and go make something, even if it's not good. And I just loved that recommendation. Again,
yeah,
like it's not a photography recommendation. It was just out on the open internet, somebody saying the idea that you're bringing too many ideas in. You should try putting some ideas out back into the world. And I think that's really cool. And I did not realize growing up that I needed those things. To your point, I was also really never encouraged to go down these paths. I was math, science, like how are you going to get into school? What are you going to do when you get there? And it really took some trying, and spent way too much money on courses that I never ended up using
mhm,
because I didn't think that this was feasible. So for us to be sitting here talking on the internet about this thing that we do, having met at a paid workshop that we paid good money to go spend time at,
mhm.
to better ourselves, to grow, it's, if we're speaking on gratitude, I'm grateful for a lot of those aspects of this work, of this community that we're both part of.
If you told 16-year-old me that, like, 20 years later, I would make a career out of it and I would be traveling to places like Fiji and Norway, I I don't even think I would believe it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's pretty wild. Yeah,
it is.
to your previous point, I one of the proposals is toying with the idea of bringing us over to Germany for the wedding, and the fact that my answer is definitely yes, passport's ready. You want to see
Yeah,
my international portfolio for events? Like I can show you that, and I'm not. I mean, when I was 15, 16, 17, or heck, even 22, the idea that I would have been able to just like take a bag full of cameras and some clothes
yeah,
and get on a plane and like navigate additional currencies and languages, like little old me
mhm,
would have been like, oh, I'm so scared. Uh, and it's just part of my skill set now.
yeah. Well,
Not scared.
it's crazy, like, it's don't you think it's wild that people pay us what they pay us to travel all
Yes.
over the world with our
Yes.
cameras to
Yes.
take photos?
Yes.
Like, sometimes, like, when you just, like, break it down to the basics of what it is,
Hmm.
it's fucking crazy. Like, I think we get caught up in our day to day and, like, we're planning, we're preparing for and doing the actual thing, and sometimes you just think like, need to take a step back and be like,
Yeah.
"Wait, this is actually kind of insane."
It's
Like,
insane. It's
it's
insane.
like a pinch me moment, like, "What do you mean?"
Can I give you the breakdown that I used to tell people about like how ridiculous this is from my
Yes,
perspective?
please do,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, you ready? Somebody is going to throw an event. They are going to get dressed up. They're going to hang out with all of their friends. They're going to invite the friends over. They're going to make food. They're going to make drinks. There's going to be dancing. People are going to be in very nice clothes. It's going
Yeah.
to be at the right time of day. It's going to be at a very beautiful location. And I don't have to pay to go to that. and I get to take pictures. And
You
again,
actually get paid to go to that.
I don't have to. This is like art school me would have been like, yes, I would pay to go to that.
Right.
Yes, I would. And now it's like, not only do I get paid to do this, this is my income. This is my work.
Yeah.
This is what I'm known to do. When people
Yeah.
like talk about me, this, they talk about me as if that is a known thing. That, yes, Michael will go to the thing with a
Yeah.
camera for money, and that's my job,
And that's
and
just yeah,
that's
it's
insane,
insane.
insane.
It's funny that you talk about, like, having the skill set to travel and, like, be uncomfortable, like, in these
Yeah.
situations, and, um, I think back on my first big international trip to Fiji.
Hmm.
I was still struggling with like, just major, like, travel anxiety, and, like, I've never really enjoyed flying. I have flown a lot throughout my life and even as a kid, but I just
Hmm.
do not enjoy the process that much, and I just remember being on that flight and just, like, trying to hype myself up, and I like, all the little mental tricks that I had to do for myself to kinda help me feel more comfortable with the process of flying, like, the sense of,
Interesting.
um, your body doesn't actually know the difference between, like, nervous energy and excitement. So, like,
Yeah, I've heard
I
this.
gaslit myself. I essentially, because I was so
Yeah,
fucking nervous, but I was like, "No, I'm gonna gaslight myself into being excited." Not that it was hard because it was Fiji,
yeah, yeah,
but it kind of helped me like, I had to create this own tool set for myself to kinda overcome my anxiety in this regard
hmm,
and feel less nervous about it, and putting myself in these situations that I maybe otherwise wouldn't have sought out, like
yeah,
traveling abroad to like, generally speaking, I tend to visit locations where I know the language, like
right.
where I speak Spanish, so Spain,
Mm,
Guatemala, Mexico, places that I feel comfortable, and, like, some of the locations that I have, like, get the opportunity to go to, Fiji, Norway, to be fair, those are pretty easy because a lot of people speak English, but they're
yeah,
not places that I would have otherwise sought out personally for myself, and it
hmm,
pushes me outside of my comfort zone, and, like, it has forced me to grow as a person, and, I've had to fly and travel so much for my work that now flying is a breeze, whether I meant to or not, it pushed me to get more comfortable with it, so it doesn't bother me as much as it used to.
yeah. I love the idea that we, as people that care deeply about this stuff, like not only are you aware of this, but the reflection on it, the like the looking back, the the act of gratitude here, and
Yeah.
realizing that this isn't normal. This
Yeah.
isn't like a normal thing that people like, pay us to do these things, that
Yeah.
these skills that we've built allow us to kind of like um, gain access to places that are traditionally barred from people like us. Um, that that reflection, that looking back, I think that itself is allowing us to grow, right?
Mm.
So not being stuck in me being the best. I always say this. Um, if I were to think of myself as peak already, I've got nowhere to
Mhm.
go, right?
Right,
By
yeah.
having the humility of reflection and gratitude and looking back on where we were to where we are
Mhm.
now, I think that is itself allowing us this growth. And I
Yeah.
think that is incredible. Uh, yeah, I like it.
I think because like, it even makes me think of, like, Maslow's hierarchy of needs, I did get a degree in psychology, so forgive me that I do have to go this route, but
I like it.
I
Let's go.
I
Let's
think
go.
of, like I think of, like, the comparison between, like, me and my parents, like,
Yeah.
my parents grew up dirt poor, gave up everything and sacrificed everything to give us a future, and that's why
Hmm.
they wholeheartedly, like, encouraged education and getting a good career and everything, and they may not have envisioned this life for me, but they didn't have the freedom to dream in this capacity. Do
Hmm.
you know what I mean? Like, they had to
Very much so.
grind to give me any, like, means to get to this point, and they may not have encouraged it at first, um, but once they kind of saw a little bit more of, like, the freedom that I was able to give myself with this direction, like, it really opened up their eyes to, like, the possibilities, you know? I did have
Yeah.
to, like, do my own path to get there, but it is very much a result of, like, everything that they sacrificed for me to be able to even think this far, you know? I did not have to worry about, like, a roof over my head or, like, where I was looking like, where food was coming from, you know? They
Hmm.
covered, like, the basic needs of, like, the bottom of the pyramid so that I could pursue more of, like, pursuing the arts and
Hmm.
just kind of personal growth as a result of it, you know?
Yeah. I often think about how far back you don't have to go for those needs to be aggressively not met, right? So, like, really,
Mhm.
like,
Yeah.
it's only been in the last few generations that people have been able to kind of like climb up that pyramid.
It was always very, like, blatantly obvious to me because my parents never hid their own upbringing from me. So, like, my
Hmm.
dad only had, like, an elementary school education, and
Hmm.
he was self-employed and was able to be successful and give us the life that we got, you know, but they had to work very hard to do it. And like, was lucky enough that I got to spend my youth traveling to Mexico and visiting, like, the rural countryside and seeing where my father grew up and seeing how poor the little pueblo is, and just yeah, like, I got to see it firsthand to an extent.
That's really eye-opening. Talk about gratitude, man.
Mhm,
That's I don't have that. I don't have access to that level of understanding
mhm.
of human need.
But you know what? There's 2 sides to that because we talked
Hmm.
about, like, how we have the freedom to kinda create the life for ourselves that we want, because I also very vividly have a memory of being a kid and being so consciously aware of how hard my dad worked
Hmm.
for us, for our sake, to make sure that we were taken care of, but that meant that he was not physically around that much for my youth.
It's a hard one. It's so hard.
Yeah, and so it's just, like, I remember being so consciously aware of that and thinking to myself, I love and respect so much and appreciate that he is giving up so much for us, but I know that when I get there as an adult, I don't wanna work that hard because I
Yeah.
want to emphasize spending that time with my people, with my family, with my community as much as
Yeah.
I can.
Which is fascinating because I was about to say this is not the same thing because, well, rolling back, your father, you would have wanted this for him as well, right? So we don't want
Mhm.
anybody to be stuck at the bottom of that pyramid.
Right.
The idea of not burning the ladder on your way up with you,
Mhm.
but I definitely have to say I'm aware that this next thing is a intense privilege to be able
Yeah.
to say, but I have felt similar feelings for my own kids, that I feel like I'm gone all the time. I feel
Yeah.
like all summer, I spend every beautiful evening that I can out at the lake shooting. So the way I describe it to my clients, I have some clients that I can get very, very real with. I can say things like, I appreciate you paying me to be out here. And I love that we get to spend this time together. I need to figure out a way so that I don't have to sell every summer evening to
Yeah.
my clients so that
Mhm.
I can take a month off in a 3-month season, take a third of
Yeah.
it off so that I can give that back to my family. That's a lot to ask the world. That's a
Yeah.
lot to ask of people that already have it so good, but I want to make it better. I want to be there. I want to both not have to have a job, 9 to 5, and I also
Mhm.
want to cut back and give that time to my family. Don't get me wrong, all summer, I have the middle of the day. I can edit
Yeah.
in the morning, I can edit after in the
Yeah.
evening after everybody goes to bed, and I can shoot um, at that beautiful golden hour. But I'm
Mhm.
trying to be more intentional and be more present, and it feels like a lot to ask, but I want to be there for my family and also not have to you know log in a traditional job.
No, but I think that's totally reasonable to, like, wanna try to find that balance because this is a very difficult industry, especially for parents, and, like,
Yeah.
I don't know that struggle because we are child-free by choice, and
Hmm.
so we do get to be selfish in that regard with our time, you know?
Yeah.
And that is also just something that I feel very grateful that we're on the same page with that with my partner, that we're just like, we want to have the freedom to do what
Yeah.
we want with, like, our free time and yeah, but it is very difficult and, like, you have a right to especially when it's, like, summer weekends, like, that's
Hmm.
huge for children and, like, families and memories to be made, you know?
Yeah.
And so that's rough, yeah.
But that's that idea that your father built a life to give you that step up.
Mhm,
And there is another version of like the next step up. And I think that there's two parts of this. One is just gratitude,
mhm,
and one is also staying grounded. And for you, your father gave you this beautiful gift of being able to say, like, this is where I came from.
mhm.
And I don't wish that for you. I wish for you to be able to. I mean, I don't know that he ever said that to you because I wasn't there. But
Pretty much, yeah.
the idea that you could then have the worries of an artist and
Mhm,
of a, you know, solo business operator, and you could be thinking about like, do I really want to have every single evening in the summer given off? Like that is
yeah,
such a privileged thought process for us to have.
mhm,
And I would want for my kids, for the next generation, for people listening who are thinking about going into this business or are sitting where we are and want something more. You have permission to want more than what you have, even if what you have is beautiful. My
mhm,
like humble request is just don't burn the ladder on the way up. Like
yeah,
make space for other people to also kind of plot that course. You can't, not everyone can take the same path, of course, but, and part of, in some ways, that's what we're trying to do here, right? Is that like
mhm,
by sharing these stories with other professionals that have climbed this ladder, that have kind of forged this path, like somebody out there can be inspired to say, like, I know I have it really good, but I kind of want more. And that's
yeah.
okay.
That is
It's not self,
totally
well,
okay, yeah.
it might be selfish, but that's okay. Sometimes if you're selfless in other areas, sometimes you can be a little selfish.
But I think a little bit of selfishness is good, you know? It allows us
Mhm.
to continue to dream and push for whatever the next step of something better is, you know?
Yeah,
Because yeah, giving up every weekend does kinda suck sometimes.
it does. It
Realistically, yeah,
realistically, it does.
yeah,
It doesn't mean that you're not grateful. It doesn't mean that you're not happy to have
right,
what you have. It just means that sometimes you don't wanna pick up a camera,
yeah,
load up a car full of gear, and spend 8 to 10 hours at a wedding. That's okay.
yeah. Because unfortunately, there are sacrifices that are made as a result of our job, you know, whether it's missing out
Mhm.
on, like, your kid's, like, baseball game or missing out on your friend's wedding because you're
Yep,
already booked that day.
'cause
Yeah.
they're definitely gonna get married on a Saturday in the summer.
Yeah, and I always have to tell people, like, "You need to tell me as soon as you pick the date so I can block it
Yes.
off. Don't make me
Yes.
wait for, like, the, like, physical invitation. Let me know
No.
immediately."
No, I'm special. Please give me special treatment and tell me immediately.
100%.
Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah,
I want to
yeah.
know now.
Yes, please.
Basically, before you propose, check with
Pick
me.
the date. Yeah.
Amazing.
Oh,
I'm going to interrupt us right here for a second and take a moment and jump into the creative block. This is a segment that we go through every episode that gives us something to chew on as a community, just something to focus on, something to think about. And this time, I just want you to share some photos you're proud of. Go into the Facebook community and Just share some photos from this year that you're grateful to have taken or you're just really proud of. Just a moment to show off and brag and share what you've been working on for the year. But take a second and also share why you're proud of it, what you really like about this photo. Maybe it's the story tied to it. Maybe it's a challenge that you didn't think you were going to be able to overcome. But either way, post it in the Facebook community and we want to see what you're working on. But for now, let's get back to the episode.
I mean, okay, but I do wanna bring up a point about being grounded and, like, the extent
Yeah.
of, like, remembering where we came from because okay, do you
Go.
remember it was literally at the workshop that you and I both met at. Do you remember Jonas Peterson's talk?
I have a memory disorder and I don't remember anything ever. Thank you.
Okay,
Continue.
fantastic. Let me remind you. Because this obviously stuck with me all these years. And he was telling the story of how some clients booked him. He shows up to the event, and it is so not the style, like his aesthetic or style that he was like used to or like drawn to. I
Hmm.
think it was like they had like a Hummer limo and they were doing like getting ready photos like at the house. And it
Yeah.
just felt so like not his like taste that he
Aesthetic.
was yeah,
Yeah.
that he was just kind of like a little pretentious about it
Hmm.
and like caught himself like kind of like in a bad mood or just like not in his best
Yeah.
until he found while he was like wandering through the house, he found this like mason jar essentially full of like coins and dollar bills that had like a tag on it that said like for Jonas Peterson. And he realized that they were like scrounging up and saving everything that they
Yeah.
could just to be able to afford him specifically because he was their dream photographer.
Yeah.
And that helped ground him in that moment and just made him realize like how special this was. And
Hmm.
to be someone's dream photographer, to have people like go out of their way, like whether they can afford you or not, like they're gonna make it work to bring
Yeah.
you for your artistic vision. Like that's incredible. And
That
like
is a
that
rare
always
thing on this planet.
that always stuck with me and like I've photographed weddings for like friends. Like I remember one where it was a friend of mine. Um she is Dominican and we shot her wedding in like Dominican Republic.
Hmm.
And I did everything I could to try to like match her budget and like it was a friend, so I was like, all right, let's make this work.
Hmm.
And I remember her even telling me like, Marcella, I want you to know you were the most expensive part of this wedding. And I was like, damn girl, like my heart, like it
I
means
know.
so much that people trust in our vision so wholeheartedly to, like,
Yeah.
trust us to bring us and, like, to pay us to, like, allow us to travel, to be like, "You, it is you." Like, for Norway, I had the same thing. She was just like, "I could pay another photographer who's local $5,000, but they're not my dream photographer, you are. I
Isn't that
want
crazy?
your vision." And I'm like, "Oh my god."
Yeah.
Ugh, my
My version
heart.
of that, my version of that around here is less of the fly me out to Norway and more of the 90th session of the year. And I'm sitting right here, I'm editing, and 7 o'clock rolled around, and I'm like, "Ah, I should get going 7 p.m." And I'm like, I just don't, I don't, it's like 40 minutes out to the lake. Like,
Right.
oh, today's just not the day that I want to do it. And you're like in your brain hoping that like they text and be like, actually, I would like to give you this money, but I don't need you tonight. And then the realization
Yeah,
that this is somebody's family vacation. This is somebody's, you know, the 1 year they're graduating, or this is their engagement. They don't care that I did 89 other sessions so
yeah,
far this year. They don't care that I'm tired. And then I get in the car. I've got a bag full of cameras. It's heavy. Put it in my car and I get driving, and it's one of the most beautiful drives in the very least the Midwest. It's one of the more beautiful drives in the country. And I'm like,
Oh
how
god,
dare
don't you hate
you?
it?
How dare you
Right?
feel frustrated
Yeah.
when this is the only thing you've technically had to do all day, and
Right.
you 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 don't have to be editing right now. You should
Yeah.
to keep up with pace, but you
Yeah.
don't have to. You could have just said, "Screw it, I'm putting the hammock out back and I'm gonna, hang out all day. I can plan my Nintendo Switch for the next 8 hours, and nobody will tell me, excuse me, sir, you are
Yeah.
fired." Nobody can do
Yeah.
that. So how dare you be bored? How dare you be frustrated or over it? When how many of our peers would love to have
Yeah.
10% of the work that we do? And I, I once a year have that feeling, and I emotionally slap myself on the face and go, suck it up, be happy, have fun with this. And the
Yeah.
second that I like get there, I'm all like, these guys are fun. This is really
Yeah.
fun. I
Yeah.
like my job. And I'm like, I lose, even if I'm like exhausted from a long, like
Mhm.
double wedding weekend. And then Sunday I booked something and then 7 a.m. or whatever. The second I get there, I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm all energy. I'm like, let's do it. And, sometimes I just need that little like gut check and like gratitude moment of
Yeah.
be like, this is not a normal job. You should be
Yeah.
grateful for having this job and not like, I don't know, rock quarry.
Right.
That's a job,
No,
I bet.
it's crazy because like, I'll get there, and, like, once I have the camera in my hand and, like, I start seeing, like, the amazing photos that we're about to take,
Mhm.
that's when it's just like, "Wait, what are you doing?" Like, "I'm awesome at this. This is fun. This is so cool."
What are you doing? I'm awesome at this. That being said, I know that feeling. You're like, wait, I'm
No,
real
because
good.
you start off and you're like, "God, I'm a hack. I'm an imposter. These
Mhm.
people, why are they paying me to do this?" And then you get there and they're like, "Oh, yeah, I'm a badass. What are you talking
Yeah.
about?"
And then you realize you've been doing it a long time and you've built the skills, and it's not just an
Yeah.
intrinsic thing, but instead you have years of experience and you've
Yeah.
attended to this work for long enough. And then what people are actually asking you to do is like take that attention and focus it on the
Mhm.
thing that is important to me. And that could be my family, that could be my
Mhm.
daughter graduating, myself graduating, the person that I care about, whatever that
Yeah.
is. And that's what we're doing is we're taking the it feels like sitting in this seat, like I got a cool new camera and I got a lens and let's go on this cool hike. But in reality, it's not about us. It's not
Mhm.
about the current trend. It's not about the way you edit. It's about being present with another human being, putting our attention and the skills that we've put into having that attention onto them for whatever that is, 40 minutes, 90 minutes,
Mhm.
8 hours, and saying, I'm gonna hold space with you and I'm gonna say that this right now is like the most important thing in the world to me. Even though you got other things running in the back of your head. Yeah, bills due,
Yeah.
your camera, did I care do I have enough batteries on me? Whatever.
It's crazy how much it also forces us to be present in the moment.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I would not do well if that wasn't the case. Again, I have a
Yeah.
memory disorder. We'll talk about it in depth at some point, but I
Yeah.
don't remember things the way that most people do. So
Mhm.
my head remembers things more in like bullet points as opposed
Mm.
to like true memory. So I am habitually in the moment. And
Hmm.
fortunately, there's a job called the photographer because
Right.
otherwise I wouldn't be good at a lot of other things.
Oh my gosh, that's
Gratitude.
really fascinating.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
whole thing.
Yeah.
Can you picture things in your head?
Yes, I can.
I can't.
That's
Nothing.
crazy. Yeah.
0.
Yeah.
Nothing in there. That I have thoughts.
Like, don't say that about yourself.
I am a smart person and I like me. I just don't
There
have a
you
lot of
go.
memories.
That's crazy. Huh.
Yeah. Marcella, is there anything else you want to talk about? I think we're good.
I think we're good.
Thank you.
Yeah.
How can we how can we follow along? How can people listening, how can they learn more about you? How can they ship you to Norway?
Please, always happy to do so. Yeah, you can find me on Instagram at marcella.jpg. That's with one L, Marcela dot JPG. And on my website at marcella.photo is the easiest way to find me.
Great URL.
Thanks.
That's a great everything.
Well, I try to keep it simple.
Yeah, that's great. Okay. Thank you so much. Let's talk soon.
Thanks.
Bye. Thank you so much for listening. If you want more, make sure you join the Facebook community and get connected. We want to see what you're working on. But you can always also follow along on social media and check out ourphotoclub.co to get connected with our calendar and everything else that we're doing. See you soon. Bye. You're looking good. I'm proud of you.